Good afternoon, boys and girls, wherever you may be, and welcome to episode 33 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you today from Facebook Live. It's been a little while, so thank you very much for tuning in. As per usual, I will say all my hellos and hopefully find out how you've all been in the last few weeks. I will do that in a moment, but I think we should start by smelling a perfume that I have been dying to smell for ages. Some of you may already have guessed what it is, but the very first thing we need to do, hello B, thank you for watching. The very first thing I need to do is just make sure that technology is working. Technology has been a little bit of a pain for me in the last few broadcasts. And I just want to see and make sure that this is coming through. Bear with me, because otherwise I will not see the comments. I think we are good. Okay, right. Hello from Paris. Thank you very much for tuning in. Peggy says hello. Okay, you are all there, so I can be fairly certain that it's working. Hearts, thumbs up, etc. Very welcome. We will do all of the hellos in a moment, but I want to smell this. Now, some of you will be aware that, was it 2 weeks ago now? I can't even remember. Perhaps it was 2 weeks ago. I did a pretty much unplanned live broadcast with Christopher Chong, the now ex-creative director of Amouage. It ended up being a two-parter because of technology issues. I was talking about technology, and we smelt two new Amouages then, and you will remember, if you watched those interviews, which are on YouTube now, you will remember that I said that I would save this one for the next episode of Love at First Scent. And contrary to what Mr. Chong implied, I don't lie to you when I say that I haven't smelt the scents before. If I have smelt them before, or I always tell you, there's going to be at least two today that we're going to smell that I have smelt before. This one, if you are watching this, Mr. Chong, is still sealed. It still has the Amouage holographic sticker, and I cannot wait to find out what it's like. I hope it's not going to be terrible. It is Overture from Amouage. This is made by Karine Vinchon. There is also going to be an Overture Woman. This is Overture for Man. It does say actually for man. I'm not going crazy, for men. And this is going to be a Oh, Christopher Chong is watching. Thank you very much for watching, Christopher Chong. If you've only just tuned in, I was just telling everybody that, how does it feel to not be in the video today, Mr. Chong? I was just telling everybody that, contrary to what you may have implied, I don't lie to people when I say that I haven't smelt the things before. This is still sealed, okay? It has not been unsealed. This is going to be a Harrods exclusive. You will remember that Rose Incense is from a range that's going to be a Selfridges exclusive. This is a Harrods exclusive. And now, of course, Mr. Chong can't hit me over the head if it turns out that that I hate this, because of course there is every possibility that I'm not going to be able to stand it. I should actually do some of the comments, because you've all left too many comments for me to ignore them. Different from the usual Amouage packaging. Let's pop that on there and let some. Oh, by the way, teaser for what may be coming next. Just saying. Or perhaps we won't bother. Anyway, let me, somebody did a laugh out loud thing. Right, how do I get comments on this thing? Comments. Please show me comments, Facebook, because otherwise I will not be able to interact with these lovely people. Right, drag this way, drag that way. Does anybody know how you get comments on Facebook Live? Swipe left to reveal comments and interactions. Yeah, that's what I've been doing. Okay. Here we go. Swipe left. I don't know my left from my right. So, Ashfaq says, hello, Persolaise. I'll laugh in advance. Yeah, or maybe we'll all be crying. And a copy of the scented letter. Yes, I will mention that in a moment as well. China Calling says, Stephen, thank you very much for tuning in. Christopher Chong is watching. We've already said that. You could be a magician too, Mr. Alavi. What would resealing, I suppose. Delighted to have tuned in for the first time ever live, says Julia. Well, thank you very much. You're very welcome. Hello from sunny Eastbourne, says Victoria. And yes, Creed, but let's not say that word just yet. Hello from London, says Eglia, and Angeline says hello from Singapore. So, the gang is all here. We're all good to go. Let us smell one of the last things that Christopher Chong... Christopher Chong loves Creed. Yeah, we know you love Creed, Mr. Chong. Look. Transparent bottle. We haven't had one of those for a while, like a completely transparent bottle. How am I holding that? So, this is where I get to completely rubbish it, because of course chances are I'm going to think it's awful. Now, if it's a Harrods exclusive, that immediately starts... Is that safe there? Yes. That immediately starts... Oh, somebody's in Fuerteventura. Veronica, thank you very much for tuning in. This is... I still am so amazed by the fact that we can do this from my spare bedroom at a Maison Persolaise and get all of these people from all around the world. What's it going to be then? Hello from Westchester, New York. Is that Misa? Thank you very much for tuning in. Okay. I'm a bit worried about this one because I really like the other two. I liked Rose Incense. I really, really liked Love Mimosa. Is it going to be 3 out of 3? The odds are stacked against us, aren't they? Okay, let's see then. So here is the first thing we're smelling on episode 33 of Love at First Scent. Overture Man from Amouage. Curious. It's sort of boozy, but not boozy. It's sort of... What's making it not boozy? There's maybe either a kind of rum or brandy, cognac type feel, but there's something cutting through it, which is really, really dry. And really haunted, like you've just stepped into a... Oh, and Mary says hi from Urbana, Illinois. Have I said that right? Is it Urbana? Very strange. Because it's... Okay, so... It's one of those almost but not quite openings. So almost entirely boozy but not quite. Almost really retro masculine, like in a sort of 80s big shoulder pad way, but not quite. Almost haughty, aristocratic, but something really quite... I don't know, I'm thinking vampires here. It's quite vampiric in a way. Maybe it's gothic. Maybe this is some kind of high gothic overture. I mean, is there some sort of resinous base? I'm certainly getting quite a few spices as well. Maybe peppery spices, maybe things like nutmeg and cloves. George says, hi Persolaise, hello. And who's that? Ashfaq says, undecided forehead, skin test, please. Oh no, we can't do. No, this is intrigued forehead. Wait till the Creed forehead comes. Oh no, well, we mustn't preempt it. No, I can't do skin because otherwise there will just be, we need to smell other stuff as well. B says, I thought you said haunted. I did mean to say haunted. Did something else come out of my mouth? It's intriguing. I suppose what it is, it's almost, at this first impression, okay, because this is, let me get this out of the way. Don't forget, these are just first impressions, and I always do a blotter update a couple of hours after the initial broadcast as a comment below the main video on Facebook and as a comment as part of the video description on YouTube, because we cannot judge these perfumes always just by the initial scent. But if I had to make some sort of a conclusion now, it's almost as though, is it warm or cool? Very, very, very warm. Very warm, which is part of the contrast, because it's kind of like haunted house and, vampire coming out from this stony interior. And yet it's somehow a vampire that is quite happy to exist in daylight. And this very, very ambery colour is somehow indicative. Ladies and gents, Christopher Chong is asking a question about this perfume. Mr. Chong, taking the mick is an expression that comes to mind. Is it skanky? He's saying, I don't remember. Well, if you'd like to know about this, feel free to hurl abuse at this man now, people. Is it skanky? It is definitely borderline animalic. Angeline says, I don't know why I'm getting an image of prunes. Angeline, I don't know why you're getting an image of prunes either. But those sorts of dried, yeah, maybe some kind of really syrupy dried fruit. Okay, but where was I going with this? It's almost as though Christopher Chong has taken his love of making things that are a bit out there, a bit weird, quite large, and maybe thought, okay, but let's try and put that within the setting of a somewhat more accessible Harrods masculine, and those two elements have gone in there, and maybe that's what's interesting about the tension that's happening here. Because there is unquestionably a very, very interesting tension. And tension, in my opinion, is a good thing in perfumery. You want something to draw you in. You want something to make you think, what's going on here? You want something that makes you second guess yourself. You know, you think you figured out a perfume and yet it surprises you. So consider me thoroughly intrigued. I mean, there's a real sour, maybe almost fungal, in a good way, base. Now, we do have a sort of a press release of sorts. Let's pop that here. Is that going to be all right there? I don't want to mess this up. I still can't believe you're asking him what your own perfume is like. Never mind. The press release. Okay, let's skim over this as much as possible, but let's find out what it says. An enchanting new addition to Amouage's repertoire of fragrances, Overture is inspired by man's solitude in the world, chaotic, ironic, and full of tragedy. A magnificent portrayal of a gentleman's mystique. I mean, I will certainly say it's mysterious. The fragrance evokes stories of elegance, grandeur, and emotion, often celebrated in operatic performances. Christopher Chong says, oh, first of all, Łukasz says, cheers from Poland. Dariusz, thank you very much for tuning in. And Christopher says, the bottle is frosted glass, Lalique-esque. Yes, I agree. What to do with this person? The Amouage philosophy has often drawn inspiration from passionate music, travels, and life experiences. As such, Overture conjures a tale of a gentleman dressed for an elegant evening in a midnight blue dinner jacket, this is very specific, accented by a moire silk cummerbund and bow tie. He takes his seat in the audience of the opera house with great poise and eagerly awaits for the performance to begin, but before the orchestra finishes the overture, a mysterious stranger gently taps his shoulder. Maybe it's Count Dracula. He rises from his seat and disappears into the darkness with nothing left of him but his bow tie on his seat. See? He's been eaten by the vampire. The performance goes on, and as the orchestra finishes the overture, there is silence. An unusually suspenseful long pause. Before the gentleman reappears on stage. Oh, he's on stage now, taking a graceful bow. As the velvet curtains close, he disappears again, this time leaving behind his charm, warmth, and the enticement of his scent. Is anybody thinking the Christopher Nolan movie, The Prestige? Ashfaq says, who writes PRs for Amouage? No idea. And Łukasz says, bow tie, thank God no Botox. Well, Christopher Chong says, 2 bats flew. What, you mean where you are? Oh, there are 2 bats. See? Oh, we have a quote from Christopher Chong. Would you like to just tune in and say what the quote was? Amouage's ex-creative director, Christopher Chong, explained, this is a fragrance for men who aren't afraid to take risks and live life to its fullest. There's something we've never heard in a press release, Mr. Chong. It is for those who exude a sense of grace, dignity, and creativity. An opera is defined by its extended dramatic composition and the mixture of emotions it arouses from its audience. This is the same sense of desire and intrigue evoked by Overture. Okay, we'll let you have that one. Overture opens. Right, here we go. Oh, brilliant movie, says Ashfaq. The Prestige. Yeah, I like it up to a point. There are other Christopher Nolan movies I prefer. And Christopher Chong says, 2 bats flew into my barn. It's so uncanny. See, I told you. Into your barn. Let's just leave that one there, ladies and gents, okay? Christopher Chong is watching this in his barn, or maybe with a view of his barn, and 2 bats have flown in there. When Gary Oldman in really dodgy makeup appears and Winona Ryder is behind him holding a stake, that's when you need to know you've got to run. Anyway, Overture opens with a rich cognac to evoke a sense of majestic sophistication, revealing a sensation of mystery through myrrh. Okay, so there's the kind of resinous, balsamic, almost fungal element. Anchored by seductive sandalwood in its base, brimming of emotion, this woody fragrance explores the suspicion of one's intuition, pulling those around them for a tale of duality, interplayed with harmony and ferocity. Yeah, maybe that sentence needed a couple of sweeps, but there we go. And we've just got a few notes, which we've already read. Top note cognac, heart note myrrh, and base note sandalwood. But no question, this is going to be being tested on. You know, weirdly enough, it's almost making me think a little bit of Bat from Zoologist, which apparently is no more. But not that it is like Bat, because that is a really, really strange perfume, but there's a hint of that. Peggy says, Mr. Chong, please join us more often. Mr. P has had it too easy so far. What the hell? I'm blocking Peggy, and I'm blocking Mr. Chong. Oh yeah, you just carry on, just talk to each other. I have a feeling I missed a comment. But what was I saying? This is definitely getting skin time, because it is too intriguing to just be dismissed on paper. They're still talking to each other, but I need to get the feedback because I'm pretty sure I missed a comment. Peggy says, a man who wants to be mysterious, enigmatic, makes his presence known, and then, yeah, okay, right, that was Peggy's comment, I missed, sorry. And Misa also says Prestige was a great film. Okay, so I think I'm up to speed with everybody. Why did we have a crying thing just then? Who's crying? Don't leave me out. If there's drama, I need to know. If you're crying for some reason that I'm not aware of, you need to tell me. Okay, so very definitely an intrigued thumbs up. And now let me properly say thank you very much for tuning in to episode 33 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, coming to you today from Facebook. Technology permitting, because Facebook has been a bit of a pain lately, but technology permitting, this video will remain on Facebook, so if you're watching after the live broadcast, please feel free to leave a comment, give thumbs up, hearts, etc. I usually get round to responding to every single comment, and then also technology permitting, usually within a few days after this Facebook broadcast, the video will also be on. You want to block me? I would never really block you. Of course I wouldn't block you, but I might. So don't test me. The video will end up on YouTube, so if you're watching on YouTube, please consider subscribing to my channel. Please leave a comment, ask a question. Again, give a thumbs up as well if you like the video. The very next episode of Love at First Scent, so that'll be episode 34, will be coming pretty soon. I kind of need to... It helps me to be able to get 2 out of the way, because then, again, we're going to be heading towards summer break. So the next episode is going to be either this coming Wednesday or this Thursday evening UK time, and I will confirm the day and the time as soon as possible. I reckon it's probably going to be Thursday, and it may be in something along the lines of 6 or 6:30 UK time, but I will confirm that as soon as I can. Wukash has just asked a question. Christopher, would that be the last Amouage that was done under your direction? If you're still watching, Christopher, what's the answer? Did you have anything to do with the Overture Woman that I presume is coming, or are you not allowed to answer those questions anymore? We will have a classic scent today as well. I will definitely want to have a sniff of the... Oh, Christopher Chong says Overture Woman will be. Okay. And we don't have a confirmed release date for Overture Man either, but it is going to be a Harrods exclusive. I'm definitely going to smell the Creed. But the next thing I would like to smell is something that I have already smelt before, so this isn't Love at First Scent, but I just had to bring this to your attention because I was just so bowled over by this. This is, I don't know if you can see, it's called Testa Di Moro, and it's from, hang on, let me just hold it properly so that you don't get too many reflections. Testa Di Moro from Ferragamo, part of Ferragamo's exclusive range. Now, the Ferragamo exclusive range has gone through a few changes because I believe, and somebody will correct me if I'm wrong, I believe that it first was called Tuscan Soul, whereas you may just be able to make out there from that box that it's now called Tuscan Creations. I haven't smelt all of them, but the few that I have smelt, I was really, really impressed with. I just thought, goodness me, where have these been? I think this is from 2018. I've got a press booklet, and I would like to, I've worn it a few times already. I'd like to spray it again here If anybody out there speaks Italian, by the way, I tried to find out what this means. And the only thing that the internet is able to throw out is that it basically means brown. But I thought, I'm sure they can't have just called the perfume brown. Whether Testa Di Moro refers to, I don't know, a particular important shade of brown that is somehow related to leather, or if anybody could enlighten me, I'd be very, very grateful. Maybe the press release will be able to enlighten us. Łukasz says those Ferragamo bottles are very glamorous. Yes, but also not overdone, wouldn't you say? I think they work. I think they actually, for once in the perfume world, manage to be classy, unlike those vulgar Amouage bottles. I mean, who on earth designed those? They're just awful, aren't they? See, he's not here to hit me now, so there you go. Okay, this is Testa Di Moro, which I have tried before. I've worn several times, and I have absolutely fallen in love with. All the way, Miracle of Miracles, Miracle of Miracles, all the way to its dry down. And it's actually the dry down that makes me love it particularly, you know, with body and soul. And I'll explain why in a sec. Oh, I'm swooning already. This is, you know, if you were to smell this amazingly scented blotter. Now, Christopher Chong says, I know they do look cheap and nasty, these bottles. Yeah, I mean, just awful. Swarovski crystal, yeah, right. We're not buying it, Mr. Chong. Misha says, this is why I watch. Ferragamo not even on my radar. By the way, is it the way you've written your name, the way you write your name makes me think it's Misa, but I hate mispronouncing people's names. So is it Misha or Misa? And Christopher says, who's the perfumer behind the Ferragamo? I will check, but I'm pretty sure this particular one is Fabrice Pellegrin. You may have heard of him, Mr. Chong. He's a young up-and-coming perfumer. Ashfaq says, Raphael, he is doing your favourite Aventus Cologne later. Who's Raphael? The magnetic caps on Amouage bottles are divine, though, Peggy. I was kidding. I love these bottles. Okay, I really, really like how Christopher Chong reworked the bottles, and the caps are fantastic. And I like the fact that the name is on the neck. I love the bottles. Maybe the men's ones a little bit more than the women's ones. Anyway, so Testa Di Moro from Ferragamo. It is, you know, we have got Fabrice is wonderful, says Christopher Chong. Yeah, we have got tons and tons of leather perfumes out there. Okay, smoky leathers, incensey leathers, and so if you get a press release or you find out on the net that a house is, Misa says you're correct, the first pronunciation. Okay, brilliant, thank you, Misa. You find out, you know, online that a brand is coming out with a new leather perfume, and you go, oh, okay, I've been there, done that. You know, I've got loads of leathers in my collection, but then along comes one where you think, wow. Yes, okay, maybe we have mostly smelt this before, but this is just so beautifully done. It's one of those real desert island scents where you just can't imagine yourself being without it. And I'll tell you why it particularly strikes a chord with me, because it reminds me of Antaeus. Now, Chanel's Antaeus is one of my all-time favourite perfumes. People very often ask me what my favourite perfume is. In fact, people have told me quite a few times that I should do a video of my favourite perfumes. I could not possibly choose one single favourite, but I do say that I would probably be able to come up with a top 5. As soon as I say that, I think, maybe it would have to be a top 6. So, for example, things that would be in the top 5, top 6 would be, actually, Amouage's Gold Man. Habit Rouge from Guerlain would be in that top. Lone Star Memories from Andy Tower, and Chanel's Antaeus. Just the balance between the leather notes and the beeswax and the spices and the sweetness, the vanillic notes, the benzoin is just so wonderful in Antaeus. But there is something about its size, about its level of projection. I mean, it's got super projection, Antaeus. That, rightly or wrongly, sometimes when you wear it makes you think, maybe, Christopher says Opus 5. Opus 5 is one of Madame Persolaise's favourites. It would definitely be in her top 5, so stop putting words in my mouth, Mr. Chong. Do you realise you've given yourself a job now? You are going to have to tune in to every single episode, because you will have to see in what shape or form I'm going to mention you. The thing about Antaeus is that maybe, just maybe, it feels a touch dated now. Sometimes I don't care and I think, well, you know, I just want to wear it and smell it myself. But sometimes I think, oh, is it overdoing it? This from Ferragamo is like an Antaeus for our times, for now. It's toned down without losing any richness. It's made perhaps a bit more transparent. It's not a clone by any means. This is certainly spicier. It's got that kind of oud touch, which these sorts of scents seem to have nowadays, even though it's not at all overdone or fakey. And I guess maybe it's also sweeter than the Chanel. Łukasz says, found this legend referring to Testa Di Moro. Okay, and Angeline says, does this Testa Di Moro smell brown, dark and rich? It does, but brown is such a, to me, brown is a kind of put down. I mean, you sort of want to say that it smells ambery and golden rather than brown, or like a beautiful rich tan brown of a really luxurious leather. You know, not like brown. Isn't there a character? Isn't there a Roald Dahl character who only ever wears brown, and that's like this condemnation of this character's personality? Doesn't one of the Twits, you know, Mr. and Mrs. Twit, doesn't Mr. Twit always wear brown? I can't remember now. But this is just heavenly. This is just heavenly, and I will be very, very surprised, even though it's from 2018. I'll be very surprised if it doesn't end up on my list of my favourite perfumes from this year. There's also another very, very good one from the range called La Commedia, which apparently is inspired by Dante. So I will not read this whole press release to you, but if we just try and tell you a little bit about what these Tuscan stories are, if I can find a general introduction. So it says, Tuscan Creations, a collection of luxurious artistic fragrances to capture the essence of Salvatore Ferragamo and Tuscany, the land that made it great. So there's a bit of general stuff that we probably can glaze over. Misa says, and not a sample to be had from PS&D, SS, or Lucky Scent. Okay, I know Lucky Scent. PS&D, SS. Victoria, Misa Martin, same here, to find out what has to go on my must-try list. Oh, well, thank you. I'm really, really touched, actually, that you know, these videos influence you to go and try some of this stuff. If there is stuff that you have tried as well, that you know, you want the world to know, that the world has to try, let me know, either in a comment or sending me a message, and I'll see if I can get hold of a sample, because this is what it's all about, right? So, Alex Lee, the perfumer, has done one called Rinascimento. Is that right? Haven't tried that one. Fabrice Pellegrin has done another one called Convivio. Alexandra Carlin has done Bianco di Carrara, which I think is a marble, isn't it? Alberto Morillas has done one. Fabrice Pellegrin has done another one. And another one. And another one. Gosh, they like his. And here's Testa Di Moro. And we have also got the other perfumers are Sonia Constant, who's done one, Domitille Berthier, and Nathalie Gracia Ceto. Anyway, Testa Di Moro. Scent splits, okay. Rinascimento, says Łukasz, is very green white floral. Sounds interesting. Is it good? So, Testa Di Moro, intense, mysterious, deep. Yeah, totally agree. The scent of leather, the smell of tanned hide, smoke and seasoned wood waft like a strong incense. They're taking these words out of my mouth. I'm so bowled over by the scent that I didn't even say wood and incense. Angeline says, good list of perfumers. Absolutely. It's true, isn't it? Like a strong incense through the craftsman's workshops of Tuscan towns. Fabrice Pellegrin's Eau de Parfum takes name and colour, okay, from the most iconic leather tones. Right, so it's the colour of a leather. It is the shade of dark brown that stands for authenticity and craftsmanship, which brings together Tuscan traditions and Eastern perfumery. A quiet, dark, intimate, neat bazaar. With Testa Di Moro, I wanted to recreate the atmosphere of a workshop where craftsmanship joins cultural heritage into a masterpiece. In the top notes, the sensuality of incense is softened by the spicy freshness of pink pepper. That's the modern thing, because pink pepper is such a now ingredient and has been for a few years. And the liqueur-like mark of dried fruits. The strong magnetic note of leather enriches the heart with the warmth of saffron and patchouli. Base notes of styrax and sandalwood create a balsamic scent of slightly smoked wood, which, thanks to mate, elegantly veers into tobacco hints. And you know what? I agree with every single word. For once, that is a press release that really tells it like it is. I think it's because, you know, they know this is a good product. They know they probably gave the perfumer a good budget, beautiful packaging, attention to detail, and it's good enough to have been an Amouage. How's that as a compliment for you, Mr. Chong, if you're still watching? I'm sure I've missed a few comments, okay, because I got carried away. What have we said? So, Łukasz talking, and... Okay, so I haven't actually missed any comments, because you feel free to keep talking to each other, by the way. What's the cost, says Stephen. Ooh, pass. I don't know. They're not cheap. They're not cheap. I've just seen Christopher's emoji. They're not cheap, but... I think as far as these, if I find out, I'll try and leave it as a comment, or maybe somebody else can just quickly pop online. It would be on the Harrods website probably, if somebody wants to see harrods.com. They're not cheap, but I think as far as these exclusives go, they're not nuts either. They may even be cheaper than some Amouages. I don't know which, because these are way too expensive, I think. Okay, I have no idea how we're doing for time or what the time is, because I've suddenly realised I haven't got anything telling me what the time is. I'll tell you what, why don't I look at a watch? There's this handy invention that tells you what the time is. Łukasz says, have you tried La Perfumerie Moderne? No. Tell me more. Send me a message. I think the time has come, ladies and gents, to do this. The Aventus Cologne. Now, I know you're not going to believe me when I say this, but I genuinely try to keep an open mind. Only available in Harrods, says Stephen. Well, certainly in the UK they are available in Harrods. Whether they're a Harrods exclusive, I would have to find out. Maybe they might be in Ferragamo boutiques. I mean, I'm pretty sure they're not world exclusives to Harrods. I think they are around. But I shouldn't say all this stuff without knowing, so I will try to find out and I will leave a comment. But now, all attention on this. Contrary to what you may believe, as I was saying, I do genuinely try to keep an open mind when I'm smelling anything. I mean, obviously, you know, we are human and biases come into how we interact with the world without us realising. So, this is the Cologne version of Aventus. It is the third member of the Aventus stable, because we also had Aventus for her, which I wasn't crazy about. As you know, I'm not crazy about Aventus, but most people out there are. There are so many brands out there tell me that, you know, they're just waiting to have as huge a hit as Aventus. And there are also lots of people who come to me and say, why on earth is that such a big hit? It's awful. So, you know, and I'm on with them. Gemma says it's £195 on the Harrods website. Thank you very much, Gemma. So yes, £195 is, you know, obviously a lot of money. But a lot of these exclusives, as you will be aware, go for a lot more, you know, in the region of almost 300, if not more. So, you know, in this day and age where perfume is becoming a very expensive commodity, I guess 195 is not right up at the tip of the price pyramid. But, drum roll please, Aventus Cologne from Creed. Is this finally going to be the Creed that makes Persolaise pause for thought? You're all looking at my forehead, I know. If I could punch somebody now, and I am not a violent person, I'm telling you now, never in my life have I been in a physical fight. Perfume prices going bonkers, says E. Yes. Especially when you think how much people charge for this. Chavs of the world unite. Why do people like this stuff? Seriously, why do people like this stuff? Peggy says that's not too bad for an exclusive for 100 mils. No, exactly, yeah. That grin on your face, says Łukasz. That was a grin? That wasn't a grin. Oh, I think this is where I say, O Boże, ręce mi opadają. Oh. I mean, what is there to say? What is there to say? Wasn't this Aventus Cologne going for $400 in New York? I'm not sure. I think I have the UK price on my tablet. By Rido is £165, says Angeline. What, Byredos have gone up to 165? I didn't know that. Wonderful. I must get a split, says Christopher. What of the Creed? Shall I send you this one? Okay, but come on, let's focus now. First of all, I would like to hear from you if you have tried it, if you like it, if you like the original Aventus. You know, I will not block you, I will not disown. No, I might actually. No, I won't. I would like to know from, you know, because I know there are people who watch this out there who think I'm too harsh on Bleu de Chanel, people who think I'm too harsh on Sauvage. So there will obviously people out there who also think I'm too harsh on Creed. So please tell me what it is about Aventus in particular that you like, and I will try to tell you what it is about this that makes me want to end my life. It is just, you know, if we had a dictionary where the explanations of words came not from sentences but from perfumes. If you wanted an olfactory explanation of the word crude, it would be this. Angelica says, no, I don't like it. Okay, Wukash, I find no appeal in Creed, so you're not alone. Thank you. I like the pineapple note in Aventus, but that's about it. Oh, you actually like that pineapple note. Fair enough. See, well, that's good to know. It means, you know, obviously somebody is buying it and somebody is enjoying it. Christopher says, okay, use more adjectives. Yes, I should. Thank you. Or use fewer adjectives, maybe. It's not Creed, it's crude. Ha ha ha. That's my Saatchi and Saatchi moment of the day. Putting the crude in Creed every day. Stephen's left a long comment, so I need to pick up the tablet for that. Aventus is the most popular men's scent in Dublin with youngsters from 16 to 26. How are they affording to buy it? Well, the youngsters from 16 to 26. A perfume rep said to me the last time I was in that fair city, they can keep it. Was it a Creed rep? And Victoria says, never tried it because you disapprove, lol. Well, again, I'm touched, but try it. You know, there are tons and tons and tons of footballers around the world who, says he with the dodgy 80s footballer haircut, who love this stuff. It is so simplistic and so unconvincing in its crass, citrusy nothingness. It is the smell of the end of the world when every single bottle of half-decent perfume has been used up, and then the ones that aren't half-decent have been used up, and there is no hope left, and the few people who are left on the planet still would like to smell good, and then they pick up this stuff and they say, this is the only thing we have left. We better spray it because, you know, the world smells awful and the world smells of despair and intolerance, so let's just spray it because at least it is a perfume. And then somebody says, no, wait, stop. Even this awfulness that we have in the world now smells better than this. Don't spray it. Just throw it into the now radioactive Atlantic Ocean and let's just pretend it never happened. Oh, that's very good. I like that. Crude plus greed equals Creed. That's very good. I like that. That can go on my website. That's very good. I mean, is there a pineapple note? I don't know. There's a synthetic, whatever you want to call it, note. I mean, there's weird citruses that don't ever feel as though they've ever come into any contact with any kind of fruit at all. They're really, really crass, transparent, awful, screechy nails in your eyes and blood pouring out of your ears, woods. There's a whole load of musks that would probably even make most fabric conditioners like run away in fear as though they're just being marauded by a plague of rats. I mean, do you know what? In all honesty, I did not think it would be this bad. I really didn't think it would be this bad because the cologne thing made me think, okay, well, it's probably going to be light and harmless. But suddenly, you know, I've been talking about it for 10 minutes now, and those are 10 minutes of my life that I will never get back. Well done, Creed, for consistency. Well done, well done. Let's see if I've missed any comments. Febreze Caribbean Fruits has a more appealing pineapple note. I believe it. I'm sure it does. Despair. Imti's watching as well. Hi, Imti. You've come at a good time. You've come at, you know, in when I'm in rant mode. And Ashfaq is smiling. Does it give off a designer vibe, says Joe? What kind of designer? Like Matalan. Does Matalan count as a... I think even Matalan would balk at the idea of having this. Does Matalan count as a designer? I don't know. I've never stepped into a Matalan. There'll probably be a picture of me in Matalan now on Twitter in a moment. Try it on skin, says Christopher. No, you try it on skin. Ashfaq is laughing his head off. Really not certain how you feel about this here, says Misa. I know, I haven't been very specific. I'm a little bit sitting on the fence about it. So happy for you, says Ashfaq. Yeah, great. And Creed, says Peggy, isn't terribly sophisticated, in short, especially for that price and cologne. Yes, although guess what? They're calling it Aventus Cologne, but it's an eau de parfum. So, yeah, okay. And lemon juice, says Ashfaq. No, lemon juice is fantastic. Lemon is a wonderful ingredient. You know, when I think of something like Annick Goutal's Eau de Monsieur, which is just this glorious lemon scent, and you know, you just want your entire summer holidays to smell of it. This is not lemon. This is like a lemon constructed by Dr. Frankenstein's intellectually challenged, half-lost, amoeboid brother. Wukash says, Jeremy Fragrance is a huge Creed supporter. To each their own, I guess. And yes, absolutely, you're totally right, to each their own. This will sell extremely well. I would never, ever try to rubbish the views of people who like it, but I don't. He says, I hope I'm saying your name correctly as well. I might try this later at the department store just for fun. Yes, please do, and tell me what you think. And, you know, people may smell it and go, he's exaggerating. It's not that bad. It's just so cheap. It is just so cheap. And if, you know, if Regent Street is going to, and Bond Street are going to smell of this endlessly. I tried Viking just for fun. It wasn't. No, certainly wasn't. I've got a little bit of a blurb here on the sample. These essences... Oh no, this is just a general one. So where I do have something about this one in particular. Where we go. Let's try to... Oh, I'm so glad I've chosen a classic scent that I really, really rate. Where's my thing on... Okay, it's not very long. The latest creation from master perfumer Olivier Creed, Aventus Cologne, is the next legendary addition. It's already legendary, people, right? To the men's fragrance collection from the House of Creed. Completing the Aventus family... Could we get social services involved? Completing the Aventus family, this new, modern and urban-spirited... Eau de Parfum is as much individualistic as it is part of the complete Aventus trilogy. No. With Aventus Cologne, I was inspired to create a new legend, a fresher, modern complement that would provide an olfactive experience entirely of its own. Boy, you succeeded there. Redefining the rules in perfumery, the House of Creed takes its inspiration from a refreshing and uplifting cologne. Exuding style, no, success, depending on what it was that you wanted to succeed in. True grit. Yeah, because I feel as though half my face has been scraped off. And vigour. Olivier Creed provides a fresh burst of modernity, post-apocalyptic modernity, to a classic eau de parfum while maintaining the utmost quality and longevity of this new men's scent. No, no, and again, no. Let's see what comments we've got here. Completed, yes, as and when they release an extrait and then an état, says Ashfaq. Yeah, probably. I mean, it's going to keep going, isn't it? Was that the last comment? Okay. Love the carnations, says... Oh, why did I not get that comment here? Am I missing comments as well now? Do you mean those? Because they're supposed to be sweet peas, and they're not real, unfortunately, because I love the smell of sweet peas, and... they're not real. Right, so, how are we doing for time? We need to get a move on because we have to be done within the hour. I'll do the classic scent very, very quickly, just because I'd like to smell something different. The classic scent for today, and I can't remember if I've actually done one from this brand yet. I need to look at my carnations from Old Spice, sorry. Oh, yes, okay. Oh, Old Spice. I haven't smelled Old Spice recently, but I'm sure it smells better than this. The classic scent for today is actually, it's a modern classic. It's good old Geranium Pour Monsieur from Frederic Malle. I think it is one of the very first perfumes I reviewed on the blog. In fact, it may have been the first one. I need to find out. What's that? Oh, please, OMG. Creed can go somewhere with that. Yeah. So, very quickly, this is let's smell this. And those of you, loads of people out there must know that this is going to be such a fantastic palate cleanser. Thank goodness I've gone for this. This is by Dominique Ropion, and Frederic Malle has said many times that it was after they created... Love that Malle one, says Stephen. Yes, you and me both. Frederic Malle says that it was when they created this, they decided that the rose heart of it was so wonderful that they wanted to recontextualize it and put it in a different setting, and that's what then led to Portrait of a Lady. And when you smell both of them, you actually get it, because of course this is so good. This is mint and geranium. I've always got a strong eucalyptus note from it. Really, really fantastically judged base of musks, which work very well actually in the shower gel, or at least the version of the shower gel that I bought prior to them being taken over by Estée Lauder. I suspect it's probably still just as good. And this beautiful rose and geranium share facets. And you can see how the intention to take this and make it heavier, more oriental, maybe more overtly feminine, maybe more Arabic, would have led to Portrait of a Lady. And it's just wonderful how these feats can be achieved in perfumery. You sort of take one block and stick it in something else, and it works in that setting too, with tons of patchouli. But this is, even though I don't subscribe to the view that we need to be guided by the weather when it comes to choosing what we wear, there are some days where I actually want to wear something that will feel as though it'll cut through the weather. So I may reach for Guerlain's Herba Fresca, I may reach for the Annick Goutal that I mentioned, the Eau de Monsieur, and sometimes I will reach for this. For a few people, the mintiness is too much. For a few people, the mintiness just goes straight into toothpaste. It doesn't bother me. I definitely don't like it when things, make me think as though I've just popped into Tesco's to pick up some toothpaste. Other supermarkets are available. This doesn't do that, and it's definitely better on skin than it is on paper, because the musks then do their thing. But I adore it, and you've all gone quiet on it. I don't know why. Could it possibly be that you haven't tried it? I have a feeling we are due something new from Malle at some point soon. I'd imagine it will be well before Christmas. So watch this space, because we haven't actually had a brand new release from him for a while. I think the last one was Music for a while, which I wasn't crazy about. Again, pineapple. Not convinced by that one still. Geranium Pour Monsieur is really nice. Yes, absolutely agreed. And I have to try that Malle one. It sounds nice, says Ferris. Oh yeah, you must if you haven't tried it. It's really, really one of the best things that Dominique Ropion has made, I think, certainly for the brand. And I should also say, it shows you that much maligned perfumery family, the Fougère, can actually be something beautiful. Because this is a fougère to all intents and purposes. It's a herbal geranium. It's got a pronounced lavender note as well. It's got that barbershop masculine cleanliness, but it's great. It's not crass or crude or creed in any way at all. So before we do our last one for the day, L'Artisan's Le Caporal is lovely minty lemon for hot and humid weather. Been wearing it a lot in work recently. I'd need to revisit her. Thank you. And E says, oh my God, I love Music in a While. That pineapple. See, interesting. Okay, well I'm still undecided about Music for a While, and it's the pineapple note that keeps throwing me. So, but I'm pleased that it has elicited love from somebody, because I think Frederic Malle is quite brave as well. He doesn't mind going for things that are going to be polarizing. Angeline says, have you tried Diptyque's Eau de Minte? Yes, and I did a video on it, so go back a few videos. I did it live on Love at First Scent. I wasn't so sure about that one, actually. I don't know, do you like it? And Angelica says, this one is one of my husband's favourites from Malle. Good taste. He's got good taste. Right. With about the 48, 49 minute mark, I should say once again, thank you very much for watching live episode 33 of Love at First Scent with me, Persolaise, here on Facebook Live. If you are watching live, if you're not watching live, thank you very much for watching anyway. Please feel free to give a thumbs up, hearts, etc., smiley faces, leave a comment. If you're watching on YouTube as well, please subscribe to my YouTube channel and leave a comment. Please don't forget that I'm going to be doing a blotter update a few hours after the initial broadcast. Also, please don't forget to check out social media and the blog, because the next episode will be coming to you Wednesday or Thursday evening UK time, probably Thursday, but I'll let you know. And also, very, very quickly, the latest edition of The Scented Letter, the magazine from the award-winning magazine from the Perfume Society, is up here, because I've got an article in it. Even if I didn't have an article in it, it's always worth checking out. This whole issue is dedicated to the notion of perfume and art, as opposed to perfume as an art, so perfume and the arts. And I've written a piece about perfume and film, because a lot of you will be aware I love movies as well. And the other kind of mini announcement I need to make is that there's been a change over at Persolaise.com. I've changed websites, website providers, hosting. There are a few issues. The content is intact, so every single post that I've ever published and written is still there, but some of the formatting has gone a little bit funny. Photos have jumped about all over the place. You can still read the stuff. Bye children, says Christopher Chung. Goodbye, Mr. Chung. You still haven't told us what you're doing. You said I would be the first to know, don't forget. But this is just to say, you know, that you may need to resubscribe to Persolaise.com. If you used to get email updates of posts, you probably will need to go back now to Persolaise.com, look for the little subscription box, which should be on the right-hand side, the bar on the right-hand side, stick your email in, and you will continue getting updates. And between now and the end of summer, I will try to sort out as many of those formatting niggles as possible. I don't think I'll be able to get around to all of them, but I guess it doesn't matter. As long as you can actually still read the stuff, that's the main thing. If you want me to make another cameo on Persolaise Live, Christopher says, let him know. To which I cannot make any comment. Ashfaq says, I was away for a while, just in case you mentioned earlier. Did you say anything about the Atkinsons today? No, we haven't done Atkinsons, maybe next time. But very, very quickly, I would like to mention this brand, which has actually been around since 2010, but I've only recently become aware of it. I'm going to mispronounce this, so apologies to Spanish speakers. Can you see that? It's called Fueguia, I think, is how you're meant to say it. So it comes from fuego, fire, Fueguia. I haven't got time to tell you everything there is to tell you about it today. Oh, better pop that there. But really, really fascinating in terms of the backstory. And I will keep an eye on the time, because I absolutely don't want to go over it. I think Facebook starts going funny with the video when you go over an hour, in terms of them being able to save it and download it. Founded, or at least co-founded, by an Argentinian chap called Julien Bedel, who is now based in Milan. It sounds like he's a sort of all-round, able to turn his hand to anything. He's been a guitar maker, as far as he told me. He's been a musician. I had a really, really fascinating conversation with him the other day at his Harrods counter in the UK. This brand is available only at Harrods, and I just wish I'd done it as an interview. I wish I'd recorded it. It would have been very, very difficult with the Harrods background music. Great playlist, but not great for interviews. But I wish I'd recorded it, because what the guy had to say about his brand was just beyond fascinating. He takes a partly artistic approach to it. He takes a very, very, very scientific chemistry approach. You know, he is able to talk about the properties of all of the materials he uses in a very, very super geeky, chemistry-oriented way. And he also grows a lot of his materials himself. For instance, he was telling me about how he has created an ingredient by combining jasmine and magnolia before the extraction process. So rather than, for instance, taking a jasmine oil and a magnolia oil and then combining them after they've been made, he actually combines the plants together, because he discovered that the process of putting them together before the extraction process creates molecules that you wouldn't get, creates odor molecules that you wouldn't get if you just combined the two oils together. So really, really interesting guy. But having been really inspired by everything he had to say, having been really inspired by the stories behind all of the scents, Fueguia is a huge range, says Łukasz. Yes, and that's partly what I was going to say. And Ashfaq says they have some oils too. Yes, never tried anything though. Almost every single one of their scents comes in an oil form. Some come only in an oil form. Having said all of that, and having been really inspired, I haven't actually tried any of their stuff on skin. Of course, we were trying lots of things at the Harrods store, and in the conical flasks that you try them, or were they beakers? I can't even remember now. They all smell interesting. You know, there are some that smell strange and off-putting. Some, Ashfaq says, so he does co-distillation. Yes, thank you, that was the word. Similar to classical Indian attar. And that's exactly what he said. Thank you for reminding me, which is why I recorded all this. He said that he took the inspiration from the classical Indian attar method. Thank you, Ashfaq. This is why I love my viewers and readers, because you guys are always so knowledgeable. Yes, thank you. That's what he mentioned. So I would like to be able to try some of them on skin. There were some fantastic smelling incense perfumes, great ambers, an extraordinary oud oil, several oud oils, which I'll tell you now. I mean, I think in the Harrods range, he has got this. This is his Harrods price list. Okay, so this is just what is at Harrods, and there are many, many more than this. But like the oud oil, the most expensive oud oil, which is 8 mils, okay, is the rose oud, which is £839. The cheapest of the oud oils is the sandalwood oud, which is is the amber oud, which is £492. So I suppose at least what you're getting there is, you know, that maybe you're paying the price that you're paying is reflective of the value, the monetary value of the stuff in the bottle. But they're not cheap, these things. And I have got one sample, and I would like to spray it again very, very quickly. I'm just looking at the time because I'm determined not to go over. This is called Dunas De Un Cuerpo, and he told me that it means dunes of the body. And I actually then asked him if he was inspired by the movie The English Patient, because that starts with a shot of dunes that look very much like a body. This is, I'm told, a size that is sold. Or was it just a sample size? I can't remember now. You can see that there is loads that I could say about this, and maybe we may, I may even need to do a blog post on it, because, for example, he was explaining to me as well that there are only 2 things in the brand that are not made by him, and they are the glass for the bottles, and also I think the plastic for the pumps. Everything else, including the paper, including the dyeing of the paper, including the wood for the counters, including the solid walnut wood for the counters, is all made by them. Quite extraordinary. And this I did genuinely like at first sniff, but I haven't properly tried it on skin, so I don't know how it lasts. And it is just the richest, most swoon-worthy, most intoxicating amber, but also dirty in a good way, fecal in a good way, dangerous in a good way, really, really natural smelling. So I'm sorry we haven't got more time to get into this, but maybe when I actually get a few more samples, I'll talk to them about them a bit more. But I wanted to put their name out there. I wanted to do a post of some sort straight away where I mentioned them, because they're a very, very, very interesting brand to try out. And if I can get some kind of an interview, maybe an email interview with Julien Bedel while he's in Milan, I will, because he's a really, really interesting chap. So thank you very much for tuning in. We've come to the end of episode 33. Don't forget, we are going to be that I'll be doing a blotter update. I'll just very quickly do the Amouage, because we smelt that. See, that's really interesting too. That's gone really, really myrrh-like and oddly woody. I can't wait to try that on skin, actually. So yes, stay tuned to updates on social media. Thank you very much for all the comments. I really, really appreciate you tuning in. I hope you do realise that I'm not just saying that. So I will see you again on Wednesday or Thursday. Until then, be good. Bye now.